Quiero decirles viva México y viva El Salvador.
Jonathan Dragon Martinez.
Wow. Quick work for 8'10" Miller. It's a knockout in the first minute. I want to end my career like I started my career, and that's fighting as often as I can.
Jim 8'10" Miller.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered.
Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. We're dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
You're on 309. You were on 300. It's just amazing. Now, you had said, I think you wanted to get to 45 fights. This is number 45, am I correct?
This is 45. Yeah.
How do you feel? Because after the Bobby Green fight, I mean, you were so durable in that fight. I mean, it's even in a loss, it was still like an extremely impressive performance. And what are you feeling about what will happen? I mean, I guess after 45, are you looking at this as being it, or?
No, this isn't it. I kind of threw it out there in the lead up to 300 that maybe we'll see if we can get to 50, right? Like if I can get to 50, that's definitely my hard stop. It's not going to be easy. That last fight was definitely one that, it took a little bit out of me. Like I pulverized the bone in my hand there in the first, and it's one of those things. It's like my hand's never going to be the same at this point because of that one. So, the fights in the camps, they do take a toll. I'm playing it by ear, and for me, it's really like if I can get through the camps and it's not killing me to get to the fight, then it's like, hey, I'm making pretty good money now, and it's not like I'm going out there and getting blown out every time. I'm 5-2 in my last 7, and
crazy,
have been performing pretty well. So let's see how far I can take it, and there are definitely parts of me that I'm ready to hang them up. I want to have that next thing. I want that next thing, but I really do. I love it. I enjoy the lifestyle. I enjoy competing. I can't wait to be in front of another big crowd, right? Because during the whole COVID time, I had one fight outside the Apex, right? When I fought Cerrone, it was like, and this sport is made for those big events, those big cards, hearing the roar of the crowd in between rounds and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the addicting feeling, and that's what I'm hooked on. So, if I can get a few more, then that'll be awesome. And I'm just I'm super grateful that I've gotten to this point, who would have expected it? So, a couple more and then I can ride off into the sunset.
Out of curiosity, with your hand, is it the part in here?
Yeah. So I broke the bone right here in front of my index, and the bone just kind of like shattered in, and by continuing to punch with it, I think I really just jammed it in worse and worse. So the bone itself is stronger than it'll ever be, than it ever was. It's the fact that now my tendons are a little bit stretched out. It took me months to be able to straighten my finger. For the longest time, I could get to here, and then if I made a fist, my knuckle would stick up. I couldn't close my fist all the way. So even it was not too long before camp started when I got this fight that I could finally hit the pads, and and really put some pop into it. So yeah, it was it's just one of those stupid things, right? It make a living doing this stuff, and it's bound to happen. And it happened in the last fight.
At my second fight with Shoney Carter, man, my hand was a balloon, and ever since then, there's a composite, something built up in here. I used to have to double wrap it when I hit my hand. When I used to get ready, I used to have to put a double wrap on it. Even with 60-ounce gloves, man, Longo's I blasted it. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking feeling it. It was never the same. I mean, still laid out Frank Trigg with it. But the point is that it was a little weak. Jimmy, you?
Yeah.
I know. If you didn't bring it up, I would have. Did it affect your sparring at all? Because guys will say like they spar less as time goes on. Again, just because you don't talk like a guy who's had 44 fights. Like, you know what I mean? You sound like you do something else for a living, and I know that you are very. You know what I mean? Like it's some guys after a while it affects them. So did it change your sparring at all? And have you sparred less over the years?
Over the years, I spar less now in that, like, I'm not sparring a lot when I'm outside of a fight camp anymore.
Yeah.
If one of my guys has something coming up and I can mimic, a fight style or body type for him, I'll get in there. But outside of fight camps, for the most part, I'm not doing it. I do feel like I need it. I need to see the punches coming at me. But it doesn't take a ton of it. And I, for a time there, I don't know, we're talking like over 10 years ago at this point, right? Like there was a time where we tried sparring twice a week, and it was just too much. We guys would be dropping like flies, and like I got banged up, and it's like, I've been fortunate enough to not really get too banged up in training and take anything that would shorten my career, but like it affected me, those sparring on Wednesdays and on Sundays, and it adds up. It really adds up. And I've definitely tried to be a lot more intelligent in the way that I train and the way that I prepare myself. And the hand itself, it was a little tentative throwing it harder in the beginning of camp. And then it took a little bit of time to dig in a little bit, but I'm not trying to knock my training partners out, it's like, okay, maybe dig them to the body or something like that, but so it's really the pads. Like I feel good on the pads. I can put my weight into it, and I know that means that I can punch Damon as hard as I can on Saturday night.
It's always a fine line with the sparring because people talk about doing less, but at the same time, like you said, you're in a camp, you have to mimic the fight, and the way to mimic the fight is to fight. You got to spar. I mean, it has. You don't want to be getting caught with something the first time and feeling fucking numbness in your face night of the fight. Like, I'm getting touched now. This didn't happen the last 8 weeks. You know what I mean?
Even at this point, right? I've been doing this shit for 19 and a half years, like training and fighting, right? If I'm out of sparring for a bit, that first time that I go into sparring, I'm a little flinchy, like
it's funny.
I can't stop myself from doing that. And I'm at the point where I know it's going to happen. And I'm like, hey, just don't be a bitch. And, but it's like, that first time out, I'm blinking, I'm flinching and kind of overreacting to stuff, where then it's like, I get in that second and third week, and now all of a sudden it's like, I can get punched in the face and keep my eyes open type stuff. And you're back to the regular game.